So I'd like you all to picture your lives 10 years from now. How do you view yourself? What do you see yourself doing as you're living? Do you have a family? Who are your friends? Now I want you to picture where you live. What do you see when you look outside of your house? Now I'm pretty sure not many of you thought of seeing this view of the surface of Mars, but 10 years from now this could be a large possibility. Currently there are multiple large corporations working on interplanetary travel in hopes to one day colonize Mars. And according to a CNN article written by Elizabeth Landau, one of these companies, called Mars One, had over 200,000 signups from 140 different countries to be potential astronauts for their first mission. However, the main leading company in this is SpaceX, which is the American aerospace manufacturer. And so today I'll be talking about the history of SpaceX, their current projects, as well as their goals for the future. So first of all, SpaceX was started by Elon Musk in 2002. And he had this dream of creating a greenhouse on Mars. And he began looking into rockets to help him do this. But he realized that it wasn't a viable option unless the rockets could be reused. And so he started his own company. And he did some research and found that the raw materials only accounted for about 3% of the total cost of the rocket. So SpaceX decided that they'd just build their own. And if you've ever taken an econ class, you may have heard of vertical integration, which is when a company owns the supply chain. And so this saves them money because the supplier doesn't have to make a profit on their sale because they're part of the entire corporation. And this actually saves them a lot of money because in a 2013 tour summary of the SpaceX facility by NASA, they found that 85% of the parts for their rocket were created by SpaceX. And it's also a private company, which means that unlike NASA, it's not funded by the government, and instead it's funded by private investors. So currently, they are working on perfecting their rockets for space, and this began in 2007, and they were very unsuccessful, and in 2008, when their third rocket failed, they actually almost went bankrupt, but were saved by billionaire Peter Thiel, who was their first actual investor. And then in 2014, they began working on getting their rockets to land, so that they'd be able to reuse them. And this was very unsuccessful as well. But they embraced their failure, and they even posted a video to their YouTube channel that is called How Not to Land an Orbital Rocket Booster, in which they show all of their failures. So I'd like to show you guys part of this video. However, as you can see here, in April of 2016, they had their first successful drone ship landing.
That's crazy.
How big is that?
Good question. So, once they perfect these rockets, what do they plan to do with them? Well, the whole point of these rockets is to transport supplies and people to Mars so that they could begin colonization. And in an article written by Christian Davenport for the Washington Post, SpaceX plans to begin their first unmanned mission in 2018. And there's multiple ways that they could do this, but their main idea is to use the Falcon Heavy, and if they end up using this, would be the most powerful rocket in the world. And they'd send a rocket like this about every 2 years, which is when Earth and Mars are closest together in orbit. And so once they perfect that, they plan to send their first human mission, which they hope to land by 2025. And after that goes well, they plan to send the actual passenger ships of taking people to Mars. And according to Elon Musk, he hopes to do this within the next decade, but that's only if everything runs perfectly. First of all, they would need the right amount of people. They would need enough people to sign up to where this is a viable option. And second of all, these people would be able to have to afford the price of the ticket. And in a SpaceX presentation given for the International Astronautical Congress, he said that if they only sent 12 astronauts, it would cost about $10 billion per person. But if they did this on a much larger scale and got 1 million people to sign up, it would be about $200,000 per person. And he knows this is still a lot of money, but he compares it to the price of buying a new house. And then, also, okay, so this is what the city would look like, or a potential idea, and you can see that there's solar panels all around the city, so they can run off the solar energy. And he knows this idea is extremely far-fetched, and that he says that in a BBC interview in 2015 that there's a good chance that it fails, but that also, when starting the company 15 years ago, he thought there was only about a 10% chance of them actually launching a rocket, let alone even thinking about colonizing a whole new planet. So, as you can see, this could possibly be the greatest development of our century that they're working on. And it would take humans places that they've never been before. So who knows, maybe 10 years from now, this could be your new hope. Thank you.
Okay. How'd it go?